Even though the world is becoming more digital every day, but still over than 2.6 billion people still do not have access to internet. And this reminds us that it's not just a technological issue, it's a human challenge. Just like water, electricity, or the other resources, digital literacy and access is also important, because without it, human will struggle for their employment, as well as in their education, and of course to lead a normal life. Digital inclusion is about making sure that everyone is able to use a digital platform skillfully and meaningfully, and it goes beyond simply owning just a device. But it's important for them to know that how they can be able to use it meaningfully, or they'll be able to use digital tools or other services, or they can get benefits from using digital tools at schools, at work, and at home. However, inequalities continue to grow. People from different socioeconomic background, then there are gender divide and geographical locations. They face uneven level of access and digital literacy. So our study aims to explore how we can design inclusive digital system and that closes the gap and ensures technology truly benefits everyone. Our main aim is to explore strategies for designing inclusive digital systems that address the existing gaps, literacy challenge, and data algorithms and data limitations and biasness. And our objectives for this research is to identify the barriers to access and digital literacy, evaluating the current digital inclusion initiatives, then examining the role of bias and data quality, and then recommending the best inclusive design and policy strategies. We have 4 research questions. They are: what are the main barriers to achieve meaningful digital inclusion? The second being, how do digital literacy programs affect social and economic participation? And third being, what strategies effectively bridge the digital divide? And lastly, how can technology design and policy work together? This topic matters because it will shape if a person will succeed academically, or they will truly excel in their career, or they will be able to communicate properly and will know how to access digital platforms. So this is a very concerning topic because here in so many countries there are inequalities that are overseen, and there are gender inequalities as well, because I have seen many women who want to scale up, but they fail due to lack of digital knowledge, and they have not been given proper training for it, or there is no training system for it. So this is a very important topic, and it matters because now in this digital era, it is like being illiterate if one doesn't have any digital knowledge or literacy. So from the literature review, we got some things points that are being access and affordability, where the device availability, cost of connectivity issues has been seen. Then digital literacy and education, like skill gaps, training quality and relevance has been there. Bias and data quality, algorithm bias, non-representative data sets have been seen. Then diminishing returns of infrastructure has been mentioned, like Excel accessing alone is not meaningful use. And the other things that the literature missed is being over-focused on infrastructure and being under-focused on human-centered design. Then minimal focus on marginalized voice like women or rural communities, like the geographical factors, and then socioeconomic factors has been missed. Some studies has been seen to connect biasness and inclusion of single frameworks, but it's not working that way. And then clinical practical strategies linking system designs to improve literacy outcomes has been is something that the literature is missing. So for the research gap, there is a limited research exploring how inclusive digital system design and design can address biasness and data quality issues to improve digital literacy outcomes or the results. And our study addresses this gap. So we are making an integrate design thinking community perspective, like the geographical, socio-economic, and the demographical perspective, and then data awareness to propose a solution for inclusive digital literacy for the better future.
Hello. Now I will be discussing about the research design according to our research. It is a model created by Sander, Lewis, and Thornhill to guide the development of research methodology. It has 6 layers, and we peel them from outside toward inward. So our research has research philosophy, in which we use pragmatism, research approach, research strategy, and methodological choice, time horizon, technique, and procedure on the rest of the layers, and we will discuss them one by one. As I said, in our research, we use pragmatism. It is a research philosophy that emphasizes practical problem solving and allows researchers to use any combination of method. It could be qualitative, quantitative, or mixed method. Pragmatism focuses on the outcomes and practical relevance rather than being restricted by a single worldview. It is problem focused. It begins with the real world problem and chooses methods that best help understand or solve it rather than following a strict philosophical tradition. It supports mixed method. Pragmatism freely combines qualitative and quantitative method because both form of data can provide valuable insights. This makes it ideal for research like our research, that we use surveys in our responses. Pragmatism values practical outcomes. The goal is to produce useful and actionable and applicable finding that can guide decision making and improve real life conditions, like digital inclusion. Pragmatism views truth as flexible. Knowledge is considered true if it works in practice and helps address the research question. Truth is not fixed but depends on the context and usefulness. Pragmatism allows methodological freedom. Researchers are not restricted to use one research approach. They can test theories, they can build new insight, they can use any tool to design. This flexibility makes it highly compatible with the complex research design. Next come research approach. We used inductive approach in our research, which means we started with real life experiences and observations. From those, we developed insights, themes, and conclusion. We did not begin with a theory or test. Instead, we let the data guide us. Collecting real-world data from people by talking to the individuals, educators, community members, or groups who experiences the digital inclusion. Also gather survey responses about the access and literacy. For example, interview people who struggle with digital skills, or survey participants about their access to devices or the internet. Looking for patterns, themes, and common barriers. After gathering data, we analyze it to see what challenges keep appearing, what people say about the digital access, what makes digital literacy hard or easy, how bias or poor data affects inclusion. This helps identifying recurring themes such as lack of confidence, cost barriers, limited support, poor infrastructure, language issues, and accessibility problems. Developing insights or recommendation based on what the data reveals. This is where induction is powerful. We create our finding from the ground up based on what real people told us. For example, communities need more human support, not just devices. Digital literacy training must be culturally sensitive, or bias in digital platform makes some user feel excluded. Conclusion come from the participant, not from the pre-existing theory. So we don't start by assuming what the problem is. We let people experiences guide our understanding. This makes research more accurate, human-centered, and more grounded in community need. Research strategy. There are different types of research strategies. For example, case studies, surveys, interviews, experiments. For our topic, we selected surveys. This allows us to explore digital inclusion in real-life context by collecting both in-depth and broad data. It was helpful because it was free and accessible. Free to use with Google account, accessible from any device with the internet, including mobile phones, tablets, and computers. Real-time data collection. We can view summary chart and graphs as responses come in. It was helpful because it was automated analysis. There were built-in charts and graphs which automatically summarize the data. It makes it easier to visualize responses quickly without additional tools. It was secure and anonymous, so it can set responses to anonymous and requires sign-in to ensure authenticity. And it supports data privacy setting. Methodological choice. For this research, a mixed methodological choice is the most appropriate and the most critical justifiable. Digital inclusion is a multidimensional issue involving both measurable access gaps, including devices, internet usage pattern, and deeply personal experiences, for example, confidence, fear, digital skills, cultural barriers, etc. Relying on only one method, or either qualitative or quantitative method, would produce incomplete or biased results. So why do not we use only quantitative method? A purely quantitative method, for example, on the surveys, may show how many people lack devices, how many people struggle with digital skill, or how often people use the internet, but it cannot explain why these patterns occurs. So there is a critical weakness of using this approach. It oversimplifies the human experiences behind digital exclusion. It reduces complex emotional and social issues to numbers. For example, 30% feel digital excluded tells us nothing about why or how or what their personal barriers are. Thus, quantitative method only offers breadth but no depth. Now, why didn't we use only qualitative method? So, justification for this is a purely qualitative method. For example, on the interviews can reveal fear of using technology, lack of confidence, or cultural stigma, or experiences with the biased digital system. However, qualitative insights cannot show the scale of the problem. For example, interviews may reveal that the older adults fear online banking, but they cannot tell whether this is a rare issue or common across many ages. So, qualitative alone offers depth, but no generalizability. So, why did we use mixed method? Data inclusion requires understanding both the scope of the problem and the lived experience behind the problem. Quantitative survey will help us measure access to devices, internet quality, frequency of digital use, digital skills level, or demographics and patterns. This shows how excluded or how widespread the issue is. While qualitative surveys will explore emotional barrier, confidence level, experiences with digital system, feeling of exclusion, cultural or language barriers. This reveals why people are excluded and what solution. For our time horizon, we selected a cross-sectional design. It involves collecting data at single point rather than over the extended period of time. This choice is appropriate for our research because our project is limited by academic semester and time constraint, which makes long-term or longitudinal studies impractical. Digital inclusion is dynamic and context-specific problem. So cross-sectional design is appropriate for this because it accesses literacy and digital skills vary across the communities, age groups, and socioeconomic backgrounds. It allows us to capture a snapshot of current access level, barriers, and experiences across a specific group or case study.
I'm using charts to present data in a clear and visual way. So let's look at the first question. Our question is about digital confidence level, and we see a largely positive picture here, like approximately 20 participants rated their access as good, and largest group like 22 participants rated their access as excellent. And so I think device ownership is not the primary barrier for this group. Now let's look at the reliable and affordable internet access. So our survey shows a positive picture, like 75.6% of respondents confirm they have reliable internet access at home, and we can see that 13.3% have no reliable access at all, and 11.1% reported uncertain connectivity. That means nearly a quarter of learners could be at risk of digital exclusion. So now let's look at the next slide. We asked our respondents how supportive is your living environment for digital learning. So the findings are highly encouraging. Our findings shows that 80.8% have strong and moderate support for digital learning at home. That means that most students have a conducive environment for engaging with digital tools and learning programs. So then 19.2% report limited support, which may include challenges. And so overall, the home environment is largely supportive. The result shows. Let's look at the participants' motivation to learn digital skills. These findings here are excellent. Like 80.8% of the reporters are highly motivated, and this confirms a powerful desire to acquire new digital skills. And 15.4% are slightly motivated. So a small segment, 3.8% reported not motivated. That means training programs can be built to support a small low motivation group. So let's turn to digital confidence. Our question is how confident are the respondents with using common tools like email and online forms. So we have a solid foundation, and this shows a strong base ready to engage with digital programs. And About 26.7% of the respondents report lower confidence. That means this group needs support. They might struggle without guidance or training. So while access to device is not an issue, like building confidence and digital skills is key. Let's move on to the next question. Our question was, have you ever participated in a digital literacy program? So the result shows a majority 60% have never taken a program, and only 26.7% have participated before, and 13.3% are unsure. So which means any previous exposure was not memorable. So we need to make meaningful foundational impact to help learners gain confidence. So let's look at the obstacles our respondents face in accessing digital technologies. Like the biggest barrier is cost, and skills and training gaps are also significant. Like 24.4% reported lack of training opportunities, and 15.6% feel they lack digital skills. So this highlights a clear need for accessible and affordable education. So while many learners are ready to motivated financial constraints and skills gap remain key challenges we need to address. Okay, let's look at what our respondents believe would actually help them to reduce the digital device. So the message is clear. Like the top priority is skill training, and we also see strong demand for better access and affordability. So overall, the community is asking for practical support like skills access and affordability. So all areas our program aims to address.
Good everyone. My name is Lagodajoy. I'm here to talk about ethical consideration as part of the topic for my research proposal. Ethical consideration. This study has been designed to ensure the highest level of ethical responsibility. The research involved collecting data through a short survey intended to explore the perception detailed to the proposed topic. The survey was administered in a manner that maintained the anonymity, dignity, and the right of all participants. Number 1. Participants in anonymity and confidentiality. No personal, identifiable, or sensitive information was collected from respondents. The survey did not request names, emails, phone number, or any demographic details that could be used to trace the respondents back to individuals. All collected data is therefore fully anonymously, and confidentiality is inherently protected. Number 2. Voluntary participation and implied consent. Participation in the survey was entirely voluntary. Respondents choose to complete and submit their answer of their own accord. Because the survey was anonymously and low risk, the act of completing the questionnaire is treated as a form of implied consent, which is widely accepted in academic research involving minimal ethical risk participants. We are free to discontinue the survey at any point without any consequence. Number 3. The minimal risk for participants. The study posed no physical, psychological, social, or economic risk to participants. The questions were not intrusive and focused solely on general perceptions relevant to the research topic. No personal or sensitive information was requested. Number 4. Use of data. All data collected is used strictly for academic purposes, including development of the research proposal and related coursework requirements. The data will not be shared public or used for any commercial or unauthorized purpose. Number 5. Researcher responsibility and future ethical practice. Although explicitly written consent was not collected due to the anonymously design of the survey, the researcher acknowledged the importance of transparent consent procedures. Future version of this study will include a clear consent statement at the beginning of the questionnaire outlined voluntary participation, anonymity, and the purpose of the study. Thank you very much.
Now let's take a look at the results of our survey on digital inclusion. Overall feedback was very clear. Majority of the respondents, about 66.7%, rated digital inclusion as very important for improving education, communication, and employment. This shows a strong recognition of how essential digital access has become in everyday life. On the other hand, only a small percentage felt that digital inclusion was unimportant, and this indicates that very few people see it as a low priority. We also saw some moderate views, which about 20.8% rated it a 3, 8.3% rated it a 4. While these respondents are fewer, they still highlight even those who aren't fully convinced acknowledge its significance to some extent. Overall, the results suggest a strong consensus that digital inclusion plays a crucial role in enabling opportunities and supporting meaningful participation in today's digital world. The data shows that the digital inclusion remains a significant challenge due to the cost barrier, limited training opportunities, and poor internet access. Even though many participants have access to devices, affordability and reliability remains uneven, with 14% lacking home internet. Confidence in using digital tools is moderate overall, but a large share of individuals, which is 58.1%, have never taken part in digital literacy program, which limits their participation in education, employment, and online services. Motivation levels to learn new digital skills are high, suggesting strong potential for improvement if proper support is provided. Free or low-cost digital literacy program and reduced internet costs were widely identified as the most effective strategies for reducing the digital divide. Overall, digital inclusion is considered very important by two-thirds of the respondents, understanding the need of integrated efforts involving technology, design, and supportive policy. The finding reveals that digital inclusion is not simply a matter of owning devices, but of overcoming deeper structural barriers such as affordability, limited skills training, and unreliable connectivity. Although most participants report good device access, gap in internet quality, and digital confidence, continue to restrict their ability to fully engage in education, employment, and essential online services. The fact that over half have never participated in digital literacy program, despite strong motivation to learn, highlights a systematic failure to provide accessible community-based training. While free training and reduced internet costs are seen as most effective solutions, long-term progress will require more than isolated intervention. It demands coordinated action across policy, infrastructure, and education to ensure that the digital inclusion becomes a sustained and equitable reality rather than a privilege for those who can afford it. Hope you guys enjoyed our research, our results. Thank you.